Record. All right, we're recording. And Art, if you could do that too on your side, if you have the capability, because, just for making sure that we have failure covered as well if one system goes down.
hmm
Um, okay, let me just hide the poll results there so that you guys can see the screen again. All right, fantastic. Okay, here we go. Your systems and strategy mastermind. It just might make you a million or more. And basically presented by myself, Maria Gudelis, with Carlos Nevarez. And Art, tell everyone where you're calling from right now.
I am in incredibly hot Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hotter than Salt Lake City or Utah where you live, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Today it's a little over 110, so
Oh my God.
it's scorching.
Well, I'm in Canada, so it's kind of nicer there. I'm in a small town called Sarnia, just outside, about 3.5 hours drive from Toronto. Um, but let's get right into it. Everyone, we're going to show you 3 practical ways to quickly scale your business into a money-making machine. And the real meat of this presentation, and so seriously, you're going to want to take notes on this, is get traffic and conversions case study, how one Facebook ad and one butt ugly sales page equals 800% return in a day. Now that returns varied a little bit, so Art's going to share that with you. And the third point, how to put systems and strategy into your life to make your life simple and fun. Art, did you want to talk about the blueprint handouts now, or do you want to deal with that later within the?
Well, I'm gonna. I attempted to get them done ahead of time,
Sure.
and my little drawing pen wasn't cooperating. So I'm gonna draw it for everybody as we get into it,
Mhm.
and then I'll send the PDF out as soon as we're done.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, good. All right, so let's go ahead and I'll monitor too the questions as they come in, everyone. So just FYI, we'll go ahead and get started. So first of all, thank you for coming on board. I know that your time is valuable, and we're going to try to make sure that you get value out of this presentation. And shockingly enough, we are not, repeat, we are not. Don't fall off your chairs now or your seats. We're not going to sell you something at the end, okay? As far as you don't have to, put your credit cards back in your wallet and just really get the most out of this training because that's, as you know, our Wildhorse way credo or our own personal values is we'd rather see you have success first, start building success, and then I will admit that when you then naturally start having success and making money, you're going to want to have coaching or check out what we've got to offer down the road. First of all, real quick, I'm going to bust through the survey results from one of our partners lists that we were emailing with him in regards to what was going on in their lives right now. I wanted to know, it's almost middle of 2015, and where are we at? Do you get overwhelmed with so much internet marketing stuff to learn? Yes, 63.4% said yes, indeed. So something that we do want to start a community, and we're going to share that with you at the end of this webinar. And if you're listening to the recording, welcome at the end of this video. What's going to happen is basically a Facebook group that's going to help you get over some of your overwhelm. At least that's what we hope it's going to do. And as this kind of cartoon kind of signifies, he finally had time to develop a marketing plan. You don't have to be in isolation on an island in order to get some systems and strategy in place, and we're going to help you with that. The next slide. Most of you hopefully know who we are, and so I'm not going to spend much time on this at all. But basically, there's a picture of myself, Maria Gudelis, and a picture of Art, Carlos Nevarez. Art is a nickname that you use, Art, right? And
That's correct.
yeah, sorry, I'm going to give you a mute for a sec. But basically, believe it or not, that is a picture of Art. He has gotten in shape incredibly, and actually one of the businesses that he is in that I'm joining him with is also in the health and fitness industry, a couple product lines in that. So we're pretty excited about that, and Art's living and breathing that, as you can see by that picture. It's like, woo! um, and we just included just a few things there, like Tom, like thank you, Tom. You're basically thank you for the opportunity to learn great stuff. I normally wouldn't recommend anything without seeing and hearing it first, but with you, I can confidently do it because you always over deliver. Not to mention Carlos Navarez. I just wanted to include some of that because if some of you don't know who we are, I just wanted you to see just a few of the great things that people say about us. and hopefully continue to say, because we're honored to have you decide to spend your time with us to learn and earn and improve your life. Art likes to collect Mustangs and power muscle cars, so just a little bit about him personally. There you go. There's some pictures of his own vehicles. And next, sorry, Art, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that, to me, all those things are snapshots in time. Obviously, sometimes you're fit, sometimes you're not, sometimes you have cars, sometimes you don't. Sometimes, we have money and sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
But I think what matters is what we know, what we can do, and I think that that's why we're here, right? Is that for a while there, we sort of lost a little bit of contact with our group of folks that were following us. A lot of interesting things have happened in a lot of people's lives, and so it's a good time to reconnect and to, you know, uh, share what we had started at some point of the journey and regain a little bit of the momentum.
Yeah. Well put. Well said. Cool. Um, and part of the momentum is knowing, what are the needs of individuals out there, and like you. And we also were very intrigued by this part of the survey results. When asked if you have a complete sales funnel in place, meaning you're collecting potential buyers, selling to them, and then have further higher price back end products, 91.3% said no. So we find that interesting as well. And so you can tell where we'll try to, service your needs as well in the future to ensure that you have sales funnels in place, because that's where some of the real money lies for you as well for your business, is having a back-end products. Do you have a brand online now? 85.5% said no. So that is interesting as well. And just a really quick heads up to make sure you're all awake. Can you answer yes or no right now in the question box to say, please tell me if you have a brand or not online? Like not besides just a product or affiliate marketing or what have you, you actually have a real live brand that you're also happy with, satisfied with, all that kind of stuff. All right. No, no, no. Quite a few no's coming in. Okay. All right. That's cool. No worries. We're going to help you out with that too when you form part of the community with us and help us kind of grow the new product. I won't spoil any surprises for the future. But anyway, we're heavily into, sorry, Art, we're heavily into branding, as you know, and we want you to learn by what we do as well. Just watch as we create brands. That's the thing. We want to share some stuff with you so you just see things grow. Out of the 5 topics below for this particular survey, Facebook marketing and how to build a profit-making sales funnel. Sorry that you can't see the rest of this graphic on this side of this kind of a, I don't know what you call that, but a taupe color. But they're pretty darn close. So that's why today, which is kind of cool, we're going to focus a little bit on the Facebook traffic case study, because, we want to serve up your needs. And there's so much interest, even today, in Facebook marketing. I don't say even today to be facetious or anything. What I say even today is because if you asked this question 3 years ago, that would have been on the top of everyone's mind as well. Facebook marketing, you want to learn more, tweak it more, figure out how to really unlock, the gold mine to that. So Art, without further ado, are you ready for me to change the presenter over to you? Would that be cool?
I'm just trying to make sure I don't have the wrong kinds of things up.
Oh, would you like me to drive? You know what? Would you like me to drive? Because I do have, I believe, your
Oh,
PowerPoint
you
here.
do have the PowerPoint, so let's do that, and then
Okay.
let's switch off once I'm ready to draw on the screen.
Okay, all right. So, cool. All right, let me just pull that up for a sec. Hold on. And almost there, everyone. Um, maybe I lied. Maybe I do. No, hold on, Art.
Uh, I can have it ready in 2 seconds. So if you're ready, just shoot the
Oh, I
shoot
do
me.
have it. I do
Oh,
have
you
it.
have
Yeah,
it. All
yeah.
right,
I
perfect.
just wanted to make sure. There we go. We should have the aspect ratio is just a little bit different on your presentation, but that's fine. Everyone, Facebook traffic case study. Let's rock and roll. Okay. So, Art, do you want to address this slide here? I'll just kind of turn it over to you.
Martin says I'm turning off the porn. Okay, yes. In my case, my porn is muscle cars and bikes and stuff like that. I have a bit of a problem for those things. So let me give you a setup. This is a company that I'm working with closely. I love the product, um, and I think it's a very innovative product. And and when they asked me to come work with them, is that they've not had conversions since January. Some of it because they haven't really done a lot of marketing. And part of the problem is that they recognized that they had a branding problem, so they asked me to come and work with them. The product is cool. I'll show you in a bit what it is and tell you a little bit more about it. Um, but one of the problems is that um, they had focused their marketing machine heavily on Amazon advertising and weren't doing anything outside of Amazon. And sometimes Amazon is so massive that it's easy to get lost. On the other hand, as we're going to show you in some of the upcoming webinars, uh, Amazon can be an amazing tool. In fact, I'm going to put my plug in for Amazon now that that I think that Amazon is becoming the new Google. It's more of a search engine than anything else. So whenever you want to find something that you want to buy from the right buyer seller at the right price, Amazon is just an incredible search engine for that kind of stuff. So I think that it's very important for us to figure out how to do this if we're going to be successful at online marketing. On the other hand, the problem with Amazon is that you don't have direct response, right? I mean, Amazon owns the client, and they shield us very effectively from talking to them. So, it creates a problem in that you might sell a ton of product, but then you end up with the inability to reach your customers many times. And they give you the ability to send them email and stuff like that, but it's all monitored by them. And basically what they want to do is say, hey, you can't have your customers. They're Amazon customers. So we want to test their direct response so that we could start going after paid traffic. Meaning, pay it on whether it's a traffic network, whether it's on Facebook or on Yahoo, MSN, or wherever, Google. We wanted to test that direct response. And we started the test with split testing on Facebook, a generic ad, and one with Father's Day messaging. So that's the setup. We have a product. It's really cool. It's been selling on Amazon, not very well. And now we're ready to start with traffic. All right, so next slide. So this is the product. It's the #cube, #cube.com. And the idea of the product is pretty simple. You have this cool little device that you put on your desk or on your by your bed or wherever. When you turn it on, it asks you to configure your Instagram account, and then you can basically tune in like a channel to whatever hashtag you want. So, somebody tags their photo with Maria Gudelis, then anytime somebody tags a photo with Maria Gudelis, it automatically in real time delivers those pictures to that cube or to any cube that's tagged to that hashtag. So it's a really cool way to get your social media delivered instead of, and people would ask, well, why not the phone, why not the computer? And what happens is those devices are not always tuned into social media. You have to actually go start your app, or you have to bring up the browser, and sometimes you're using those other devices for other purposes. And so this one was intended to say, hey, if you want to stay in touch and you want to see it scrolling through your desk as it's going, it's a great way to do it. If I want to have my Mustang porn going by and watching anybody posts about a Mustang, I can have that channel just flowing through. So the ad that you're looking at is exactly what it looked like. And the only difference between the generic ad, which is the one you're looking at, and the Father's Day is that underneath where it says display Instagram photos, it would say great Father's Day present, great Father's Day gift. So there wasn't a lot of difference in the ads other than a little bit of the headline. So let's take a quick informal poll here. Gut reaction. Uh, okay, so tell me what you guys think. What do you guys think converted? Do you think the Father's Day, and we ran this on Father's Day week, do you think the Father's Day ad did better than the generic, or do you think the generic did better than the Father's Day? Just and the question, just answer it on the question. Father's Day, Father's Day. Oh wow, okay. You guys are splitting here. All right, so I'm with the crowd. I really thought the Father's Day messaging was going to perform better than the generic message. So I guess the same thing that everybody did. And the way we did it is we put X number of dollars into the first campaign and then followed up with X number of dollars for the second campaign. So drum roll. Yeah, what were our results, Maria? All right, so out of the two campaigns, as you can see, um, the cost per click was identical. Now, the cool part about it is that, the spend was roughly a little bit over $800, $880, and we reached a little over 200,000 people and resulted in about, 40 cents a click. With a little bit over 2,000 clicks coming out of that traffic. So from a front end conversion, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that's good results, or is that some of you guys are running campaigns right now? What do you guys think? Good, bad, so-so? What do you think? Mediocre? Okay. Somebody says good. All right. All right. So I'm going to tell you that I run a lot of campaigns, and it depends. Yeah, David says I have to see the conversions. That very smart answer. I got to tell you that on a click basis, depends on the type of clicks that you're getting, whether that's a good price or not. I can tell you that that I had a client that just recently we were paying almost $20 a click. Now, these guys were converting well, and they were grabbing customers that were spending $500,000. So paying 20 bucks a click was not a bad idea, right? So 40 cents a click in this case, I'm gonna cheat a little and tell you that it was actually a great price for this particular type of product, because on the average, if I went to try and buy clicks from, say, Google or MSN.com or whatever, they'd be wanting closer to $2, maybe $1.50 to $2 per click. So the cost per click actually ended up being a fairly good cost per click. All right, let's go to the next one. So on the generic, how did it perform? Okay, let me. I have my beautiful big screen is not as big as I want it to be. So we ended up with. Yeah, no. I have this.
Art, I think
I have the.
Art, I think all men say that it's not as big as they want it to be.
Okay. All right. Hey, everybody's giving me crap about this stuff today. Yeah, I am typical male. OMG, says Martin. Okay, 894 clicks, 98,000 people, $354 spent. That first day rocked it. And let's show the next one really quick, so you can see. So the performance was okay, and the reason I want to show you this detail is because the analytics ended up being very interesting. So most of the traffic, it was evenly distributed pretty much between male and female, and the the main source of the traffic came from people, 18 to 34. There's a little bit of the 35 to 54, but not very much. So so it ended up being an interesting phenomena. And in a minute, we'll talk a little bit about what that says about it. So let's go to the next one. So this one was a bit of a shocker for me, right? In that, um, what does this graph tell us?
Oops, sorry, Art.
Before we go to the contextual ad, let's go back. There we go. No,
This one?
let's go
No,
back to the other one.
this one? Okay.
Back, back, back.
Back?
No, back, back more.
Really?
Generic. There you go.
Okay.
The next one.
This one. Okay.
No, that's good. Now go the other way. Couple slides forward.
2. Okay.
There we go. Generic traffic sources. What this, notice where the traffic came from. Do you guys know what that means? The audience network?
I think this is fascinating, this part. This is really interesting.
This was interesting. First of all, because I didn't realize that that I had control over this, but notice that there were hardly any desktop traffic, hardly any. And Martin says, Father's Day specific ads would not get mail traffic. Yeah. I mean, there is some truth to that. Now, mobile newsfeed, and more importantly, 93% of the traffic coming from the audience network. Do you guys know what that means? It means that Facebook outsourced the traffic out to a mobile traffic network. You don't know what desktop means. So that means that typical people on a laptop or on a desktop computer or something like that, then the traffic came from mobile devices. 98% of the traffic came out from mobile devices. So extremely interesting. So this is great news and great data for those that are in the marketing thing. Is like, with 98% of your traffic coming from a, because somebody asked me this just recently. They said, how big should my ad be? Should I go for that 1024 by whatever ad space the Facebook tries to sell me? And the answer in this case would be resounding no. Absolutely not. The ad should be 100% mobile optimized, right? Because 98% of the traffic came from mobile. So let me save you the trouble when you go to try and create your campaigns. And even though people will tell you, oh, go put this in full graphics and whatever. For me, for this campaign, it would have been a waste of time and a waste of money. So mobile news feed and audience network. And audience network is, as we started looking at it, was not just from Facebook. The mobile news feed is people on Facebook mobile, but the audience network is from in-app advertising from publishers that work with Facebook. So it had nothing to do with Facebook. In fact, 93% of this particular traffic did not even know that the ad was being presented on Facebook itself, although they did see the ad. So interestingly enough, we go and pay traffic to get traffic out of Facebook, and Facebook gives us traffic out of a different network. It's fine. Let's go to the next. So for the context-sensitive campaign, let's go to the next one. All right. So for this one, we spent a little bit more. We got a few more website clicks. We reached a few more people, but the cost per click was identical. It still, came right around 40 cents. So let's go to the next. The distribution, the demographic distribution, was almost identical between the two. Still young people, although the older people seem to respond better to the Father's Day ad, but not by much, just 1%. The bulk of the people were young people. And then let's go to the next one. Oh, there we go. The sources, once again, although not as high, the audience network still dominated by a long shot. and the mobile news feed, picked up a little. But once again, the right-hand column on Facebook and the news feed on a typical browser didn't even register. So, for this particular product, I would just focus 100% of my advertising on targeting mobile customers. So let's go to the next one. All right, so what did and we'll explain the funnel a little bit more once I get to the drawing, but what the funnel looked like was very simple. You saw that what the ad looked like on Facebook. When they clicked, it went from Facebook to a home page, and then from the home page to a buy page, and from the buy page to a checkout page. I know there's some very smart people in here with a very keen mind. What do you guys think of this funnel? Just an informal, too long? Absolutely. Not good, says Robert. Obviously too many clicks. Homepage change to educating them, says Robert. Okay, yeah. Um, I had the exact same reaction, right? I think that the funnel was a little bit too long, um, and uh, and yeah, I think for mobile, what you want to go is you want to go as quick as possible to the checkout. Just boom, check me out. You already know what you want. You're dedicated. You're not clicking. But oddly enough, the funnel performed fairly well. Now, let's go back a little bit to the demographic, to the analytics. So what did we learn from the analytics? Well, first of all, we know that most of the traffic came from mobile, but most of the traffic came from kids 18 to 34. And mobile needs a heroin button. Exactly. You need something that goes fast. But so a couple of things. It makes sense that these were young people. It makes sense that they were all using their phone. And it also makes sense that they were buying a gift for dad, very likely, which is why we ended up with that type of demographic, with that type of response. Um, and even though the front end for Father's Day didn't really change the conversions or the cost per click, um, the imagery apparently worked well enough to get these young people to go and sell it. In fact, what we discovered is we started on Monday. On Monday, we got incredible conversions. On Tuesday, the conversions were not as good. And on Wednesday, the conversions really sucked. They just were not working. And what we figured happened is that people got on Wednesday figured that dad wasn't going to get the gift on time for Father's Day, so they stopped shopping for Father's Day on Wednesday, and the conversions dropped. So, part of the of the trick of running these tests and these campaigns is to be able to look at things and say, okay, what do we think happened, and have enough analytics in place to make sure that we can back up our assumptions and we can make our changes. Okay, let's go to the next one. So this is what the funnel looked like. When you landed on the home page, it got to this, and I'm showing it to you as it would have looked on a mobile device. Social media delivered with a little arrow at the bottom. Looking at the heat maps on the page, a big chunk of the people click on that little arrow at the button. So let's go to the next page. So they scroll down, and they saw this: display Instagram photos plus videos instantly with hashtag Cube, get Cube now. And 98% of the people that came to this, that got to this point, click on get Cube now. So that was like no question about it. Now, as David said, we need the heroin button here. This should have gone immediately to the checkout. Instead, what this went to, and let's go to the next page, it went to another buy now splash. We should have totally done with that. Now, again, looking at this particular splash page, there's nothing to do here. There's no indication that you need to scroll, although a lot of people did scroll, but we lost a big chunk of people right here. They didn't know what to do next. So then let's go to the next one. When you scroll down, you got the description of the cube and you got the price, but what's missing in this second page? You know, if this were your checkout page, what's missing is the actual checkout button. So let's scroll to the next page. Yeah, your call to action, exactly. So the third scroll, on the third scroll is when they got to the actual add to cart function. Oddly enough, or I'm not going to say oddly enough, interestingly enough, um, David said that the original landing page scroll was a good micro commitment. I agree. I totally agree that that first scroll was a great move. I think once they hit buy, we should have taken them to just check out. A big chunk of the people, over 95% of people, went to Amazon.com from here. Of the people that made it here, and by then we had lost a good chunk of people. But of the people that made it here, most people chose to buy from Amazon, even though they could have bought directly from the store, or they could have kept scrolling down and bought from eBay or Adorama or whatever. Most people chose to buy from Amazon, which once again shows you that, well, for a number of reasons, we think. One of the guys on our team actually went through the funnel and he checked out with Amazon, and we were asking him why. He goes, well, because I'm on Amazon Prime. Yeah, trust for sure, right? They trust Amazon over #cube.com. But you know, Prime users are used to the Prime free ship, and they're they're familiar with the return policies, and so he said in the one-click checkout, they used the one-click checkout. So this reinforced once again that that there's trust, that there's social validation when you do stuff like this, and that if as we do this in the future, I'm going to be 90% more likely to send them to Amazon and figure out a separate way to get the customers back into the customer database. All right, let's go to the next one. So here's how it all ended up working out. Out of the generic, we spent $200. You got 9 sales for $150. So the CPA ended up calculating to basically $22, and the cost per click around 34 cents, which was a 600% return on investment. When this was going live, I was telling Maria the stats, and I told her 800%. So she sent a message to everybody telling me it was 800%. That's okay. We love the exuberance. And then the second day, sales went really well. What really brought the conversion down is that we ended up spending an extra $200 on the third day, which ended up dropping to almost nothing. The return is still pretty good. Now, let me ask the team. Spending $29 to sell a $150 product, is that good or bad? Come on, what do you think? It's excellent all day long, right? When I was sitting here with the team, and well, yeah, it depends on the margin, says Dean. Yeah, of course, but you're assuming that you're going to have standard retail margins, right? So assume that they're spending another $20, $30 on the unit, and that for basically $60. And then let's say you got another 20% of operations for $80. You're selling a $150 product, so you're making almost 70 bucks per unit. So, I don't know that that's exactly how the numbers work here. I'm just telling you what I would guess from a standard retail setup is what their thing is. But let me put it this way: even if they had a $50 cost of goods, in a $30 CPA, you sell $80 to sell the product, and you're clearing a good chunk. And even if you spend another $20 on operations, you're still clearing $50 of profit. So I don't think that any way you slice and dice this one, that you wouldn't turn the crank on very heavily on either one of these campaigns. Now, obviously, we would want to go more towards generic ad and go after that type of performance. But anytime you can put in $30 and $150 comes out the other way, it's a good thing. Let me put it this way. If we were to go to OfferVault, and Martin says in brick and mortar 30% margin rocks, this kind of margin is stellar. Exactly. Let me tell you this, guys. I do a ton of advertising and I buy traffic for all sorts of different groups, and I'm used to ending upside down on the front end, right? Which is, I'm not going to say I'm proud of it, but I'm just going to say that, particularly with internet marketing, most internet marketers build deeper funnels because if they have a $50 product, they think they're going to spend $70 to $80 moving that $50 product. Eva says the generic also won because of the type of product. Yes, very young demographic, very much so. But so yes, the test as a whole for me was very encouraging, and we're now retooling. We would have cranked it up had we not seen the Father's Day effect on it. So right now we're going to retool, and then I'll talk a little bit about how we're going to fix it there. And yes, Tom, we're going to do a replay for this. So this is the basis, the basis of the discussion now. And Maria, let's switch the screen over so I can talk about, basically
Okay.
what are the things we need to do.
Like give the screen over to you, correct?
Yes, please.
Yep, it's on its way.
All right, can you all see this?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
All right, excellent. All right, so let me do the blueprint here, and what I want to do with the blueprint is to so let's start with Facebook. No porn though. Okay, so let's start with what we're going to ask ourselves. The first thing, and I noticed some interesting questions in the panel there. The first question is, you have to ask yourself, am I going to sell a product, or am I going to sell the features of the product? Right, and this isn't I'm not asking. I'm just telling you, when you go to create that front end, in this case, we chose to sell a product. We didn't go into the benefits of the product and what you could do with it and everything else. It was purely about selling a product. And sometimes, though, when you may have a family of products, that becomes a little bit more difficult, so it makes it easier to sell the features of a specific product. But it's a very important question to ask yourself as you design that front end. Am I selling the product, or am I selling its features? Why? Why would that make a difference? Because if I'm selling features, I have to be able to explain the benefits of the features in a way that makes sense. In other words, I'm explaining how this works. And sometimes a lot of people like buying things because of how something works. So for example, if I'm selling you, and David says it's limited real estate, image and text, yes, short amount of real estate for both. But let's say I'm selling you a supplement, a drop, right? And the features of it is that you can lose weight in 7 days. In that case, I'm selling you the features. I might just say, this is the slim fast product, and people, maybe the brand itself carries, the sale. But it's an important thing to ask yourself. And Martin says that it's very important to isolate the need or pain if you're going to sell the features. And yes, right. Feeling sad and lonely, take my pepper upper, whatever, right? Except that's how that works. Then the next question is, your segments. One of the things that we decided to do for this next upcoming set of tests is I'm going to exclude the 18 to 34. The viewer's imagination sells a cool product. Yes, if you're able to be creative and stimulate the imagination, that's even better. David says, like the picture cube, it has a self-promoting image. The pill's not so much. Exactly. Yeah. Some things you're going to have to describe what it is, or it looks like everything else. But let's go back to this comment of segmentation. This question of segmentation. In this case, I'm going to, for the next test, I'm going to segment out the 18 to 34. Why would I do that? Why would I take the largest producing segment of the market for my next test? So here's my logic, and you guys can call me crazy, but when I was looking at the numbers, my first thought was, okay, the Martin says go where the money is. Well, no, I mean these kids generate most of the money as well, but here was my thinking. These young people are not the users of the product. They were buying it as a gift. So I want to go find users of the product. So it's not that I'm going to stop selling to them, but I'm going to segment them off and focus the test into the older demographic, which is going to be the 30 to and older, so that I can figure out what kind of imagery and what kind of messaging is going to convert for them. So that's the first thing I'm going to do to segment, is go and say, okay, I know that guy, I know those kids work, but they work because they're doing gifts. So if when I retest with that segment, I'm going to go test of them as users. So ask yourself, answer this. If I'm going to send marketing to these young kids and I want to test them as users, not as gifters, what would I be selling them, the product or the features? If I'm going after an end user, would I sell the end user the product or the feature? Eva got it. Features, absolutely, right? I'm going to go tell them why this thing is so fun, why it's going to make their life better, why they're going to be so much popular, why they're going to be able to have one of these things at a party and everybody's going to be able to Instagram, and everybody in the party is going to get the pictures from everybody in the party delivered to their one device. Everybody that goes to the concert or to the ball game or to the bike race or whatever. Yeah, that's right, Barbara. I mean benefits. When I mean features, I mean the benefits of the product. So that's that's when I'm going to go back to these. Remember, in this case, I was selling the advertising front end was very product heavy. So I'm going to switch it to feature heavy to go after these kids and go, let's segment this. Let's see if we can get them as users, not as gifters. And yes, Art is Carlos Nevarez. It's my middle name. And so anyway, yeah, Art is my middle name. So those are the first things. The first things we want to do with this part of the blueprint. We want to product and features. We want to ask ourselves. We want to segment, and then a fast call to action. So now, when we drop out of our CTA, so one longer page with buttons, all done, says Martin. Hey, your great minds think alike. I thought so too. Now let's look at the comment, that the little arrow with for the landing page. So I thought that, the picture of the cube and the cute little things in the middle and stuff with the little arrow was actually a plus in this case. So I don't know if I want to mess with this intermediate landing page where if they click the down arrow to get them to get that initial quick micro commitment to test out the people that are going to do it. And then, now let's say that we're going to split this, right? We're going to go into the younger demographic, which I'm going to erase that really quick. The younger demographic is going to have maybe what I thought of doing is a picture of the cube that is really a slider that shows like a party, a dorm, a basketball game, and whatever, in all these people selfing or posting pictures to Instagram, and then all the data being delivered, all these images being delivered onto the little cube device, right? And everybody, images of people just loving the cube, right? So, just dropping everything, using the product of the product so people see what it looks like, and it'll probably have a big buy button. I'll go with the red one right here. A big call to action, top of the fold. Maybe they're going to click it, maybe they're not going to do it, but we're going to do that. And then we drop into, features, more pictures. This is amazing. This is better than your mother's, pie, whatever, more pictures. And we're going to end up dropping more and more buy buttons in the middle, with a little bit longer copy. Martin says the shape of a cube for the buy button. I think that would be a cute little um, spin on it. I mean, honestly, all these things that can generate emotion. I mean, ultimately, as marketers, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to instill the emotion and to bind the buyer into that purchase for whatever reason we're doing the thing. So this is what I would call the younger flow. Now for the other folks, right? The messaging, I'm still going to go functional, right? But again, once you hit, and well, let's finish up. Let's put up the other ones. For the other one, I'll probably use a very similar design. Where there's a picture of the cube with a big, red buy button, but the imagery is going to be a little bit more, for example, how about, David said, how about making a game of tag with the cube? Absolutely, yes. I can't tell you too much because I'm in the development right now, uh, but we're definitely gamifying the marketing, right? So, for example, I'll give you a little quick heads up. We're going to do like Hot Bodies of Summer contest. So everybody that tags with Hot Bodies of Summer enters a contest. There's a reason for entering it. There's some benefits for entering, and then they have to go to hashtagcube.com to the dashboard to see the leaderboards and collect their prize, and we'll rebrand, we'll continually reinforce the brand. And by the way, if you have one of these cubes on your desk, you're going to be able to check it'll automatically deliver the leaderboard to you every 5 minutes or so, or you can configure that, and you can keep track of who's winning. If you want to be somebody that helps people win, you can vote for them, and the automation system is going to sit there and automatically calculate things like likes and stuff like that. The only gotcha we have right now is we're trying to figure out how to keep those guys that go into Fiverr and buy 1,000,000 likes. So we're trying to figure out how to combine a like with some sort of real account and things like that to minimize this. How long can a mobile sales page be? You know, there is no limit. The beauty of mobile is that it scrolls up, and the beauty of mobile is that mobile users are used to just keep dragging their finger, flicking their finger up so that it can scroll down. So they can be quite long, and it reacts better. The bigger thing to consider with mobile is the size of your images. You don't want images that are with a million people in them because then you can't see them. They're kind of tiny. You know, the dimensions are going to be cut down or resized or scaled down. So that is the biggest concern that you have with going with that. So with the older generation, though, what we're going to do is we're going to go with, you know, more of a, you know, these are probably likely to be moms, young moms to, you know, older moms. So we're going to go with a message aimed at moms, professionals, right? This is the kind of thing that you want on your desk at your office so that you can keep in touch with your family. I mean, look, you're a workaholic. You're away from them all day. How cool would it be that every time your daughter and your son post something up on their quote-unquote family hashtag that you get it delivered to your desk immediately? You know, so it's a good way to stay together, brings families together. Grandma and grandpa, you know, don't have to keep calling you to get you to post pictures for them. They see the pictures as long as you're using the hashtag for your family. So that kind of messaging, same kind of thing, you know, the social media is being delivered to your cube automatically in real time, and it's super easy. You don't have to be a techie. Maybe we'll run a contest for cutest child in the world. Uh, you know, uh, you know, that kind of stuff. Multi-page smartphone pages are still costly, says David. Yeah, you know, obviously what we want to do is dog lovers, absolutely. You know, so I don't know if you guys saw the cover story on Sky Magazine was the underdog with the overbite. It's the story of this little Chihuahua that has an overbite, and he has over like, you know, 50 million followers or something crazy like that, and its owner has hashtag Mustang porn. that's that's classic. But anyway, dogs are big pets as a whole, right? I mean, whether it's dogs or cats, you know, exotic pets are starting to make a comeback. Um, you know, so the cool thing about this device though is that it's so easy to come up with all sorts of cool things. Event cubes, absolutely. Or you guys can think about like even like e-commerce cubes, right? Like think of you know, having a cube at the desk at your shop, and you know, when people sit there and they go there and they see the kind of picture associated with your type of shop, and every so once in a while it scrolls a coupon, and they click on the coupon and it will shoot it to their phone so they can use the coupon for that visit or whatever. So there's all sorts of really cool things that we can do with this thing, which is one of the reasons I'm involved with it, because I think it's a fantastic product. There are other competitors out there, but not in this form factor, and I think the form factor in this case helps helps the sale. Okay, so now we go from the sales page. Now what happens is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have multiple pages so that, you know, we're going to test a page that goes to Amazon. So instead of giving them the choice to go to Amazon or not, one, when they click buy, is going to take them to Amazon for the checkout. One's going to take them to the direct sales page for hashtag, and we actually want to try one other one, which is Brookstone. Right. So we're going to go Amazon direct sales page and Brookstone, and we're gonna just test those three as to see who you know, which one performs better. So still we're gonna go with Facebook advertising, and test the traffic. So that's just for the next page, right? For the next test. After the next test, once we redo Facebook advertising, then we're going to test direct traffic from the mobile networks themselves. But the first thing to do, though, okay, so let's go back over here. What we want to do is we want to test conversion here, right? What's our cost per click from Facebook to landing? We're measuring clicks. We want to know how much it costs us to get that click. This is a temporary test right here, right? So this first intermediate landing page, we're going to test it. I don't know how long we're going to leave it there. We may not leave it there very long, and then we'll redirect the landing clicks to the specific segmented pages, right? And then you want to measure the conversion of the buy button here, these buy buttons. So we want to test the conversion to here. Now here's I'm going to delete that. Nobody can read those scribbles. So here's where something it gets really interesting, because what did we discuss about Amazon? What does Amazon not let me do? I can't measure once they land on Amazon. Yeah, they won't let me add them to my database, but they won't tell me out of the 10 people that I sent to their checkout page how many actually converted. Now, people go, well, yeah, but you can guess, right? Because if you send 10 people, you got 2 sales, when obviously 2 sales work. But I can't tell which of the 8 people didn't buy. And that is bad, because I don't have any other way to go back and say, hey, you were really interested in buying this. You can't retarget them. Now, that's not quite true, David, right? I can if and thank you right now for that. That's a great comment. You can retarget them. However, what we want to do is right here, we want to cookie them. I may not be able to retarget them directly, but I can retarget their cookie, right? And guys, this is getting a little bit on the expert side, so I won't cover that. But obviously, we would want to sell direct if we can, David, right? Because Amazon will block us. But because even if Amazon blocks us at this stage right here, right? If they're blocking us here, they won't be able to block us here. So we want to cookie them so that we can at least retarget their cookies. The downside of that right now is obviously because we don't know which ones were buyers and which ones were not. A percentage of those people are going to get wasted retargeting because exactly, David. Yeah, you can retarget them via that original screen, but we can't. But we'll waste some money because we'll retarget some of the buyers, unfortunately. Right now, here and here we can get information, so we can put tracking pixels on both of those pages, and we can find out who those customers were and target them later. Now, with the next revision of the firmware, once they ship the cube, and I have no clue why they didn't do this already, but what I want to do is I want to rewrite the firmware in the cube so that the moment that they light up the cube, we ask them to. The moment they light up the cube, we ask them to register, right? And now at least we have a way to segregate those buyers from the non-buyers. But Yes, and you're right, Martin. So Martin's saying if they were committed to buy, the options are obsolete. Yeah, I'm not giving them options. What I was saying was, in this case, we're going to send them from the buy directly to the Amazon check, or directly to the direct sell page, or directly to the Brookstone page, because we want to test how the different channels perform versus one or the other. So if I send 10 people to Amazon, do I get 9 sales? If I send 10 people to the direct sales page, do I only get 2 sales? You know, should we not even attempt direct sales pages because they're not going to convert? Or is Brookstone as good as Amazon? You know, that kind of stuff. So we're going to test that kind of a scenario. But for the next rev of the product, then what we're going to do is we're going to embed what I call the phone home feature, so that I can track the buyers. So, you know, the the reason that we're using different sales portals is because we get some advantages in some incentives based on different uh, channels, and also because Walmart's been interested in picking up the cube, but they want to see what our sales are off of the different distribution channels as proof before they'll put the cube on their shelves. So anyway, this is what I would consider your complete blueprint, in that this type of architecture, um, this type of architecture is very useful, regardless of the kind of thing that you're selling, and regardless of whether you're selling through one channel, your own direct, or whether you're selling to multiple channels. The idea, though, is still the same thing. You want to measure 2 points. You want to measure right here on the cost per click. You want a cookie for retargeting. You want to measure the percent of conversions to the checkout page, and you want to measure the conversions post the checkout page, because there is quite a bit of shopping cart abandonment out there. And Maria, that is it. I think I put people to sleep, but
Well, everyone, all I have to say is that in some ways, this was very advanced. But why it's good to put on here, especially since we saw the statistics from before about who has their product online and who doesn't, and a fair bit of you, I think it was over 75% are indeed selling a product online, if I remember the stats. The thing is that look at how much art focused on the measuring of stuff. And I love that art, because one of the biggest pains that everyone has when they do stuff online, it doesn't matter if it's a brick and mortar business that goes online or whether it's an internet marketer, is often they don't pay attention to the measurements of data. And because at the beginning, I get it. Sometimes you're like, oh, I just want to make money. I just want to quit my job. I just want to start making money, or, there's a little bit of, pressure there. However, if you could spend a little bit of time at the beginning to set up the proper systems and get in the habit of measuring, you're going to be able to scale. And that's one thing you always know about Art Night, that we always try to enforce and teach you to think about building your business out, growing, scaling, maybe even selling it as a back end strategy. Art, I think you did fantastic. If everyone on the webinar right now could just comment on your thoughts of this. How are we doing? On a scale of 1 to 10. Was this a 5? Was this a 10? Was this a 8? And how can we also in the future make stuff better for you guys too? Terry says a 9. Susie says 10. Absolutely awesome. And so Art, just fantastic. And maybe if you want to just address a couple of things, do you want me to take the screen back over just to show
yeah,
the,
let's do that.
okay, cool. Martin says 11. Awesome. Yay.
Well, I'm going to tell you that the thing for me that makes this an interesting case study is it's a live case study, right? Because you know, we want to spend 100. So the last big case study um, I did $100,000 a week in media. That's how much we were spending. Um, in order to get to spending $100,000 a week in media, you have to have your measurement done, no question, right? Like you can't go spend that kind of money and end up with problems. Now, let me tell you another thing that was interesting about this particular case study, which I think is going to be useful for the team. This website, this team didn't have a techie put together their website and everything. So it was basically the marketing team in the company that did the work. And they chose Squarespace to host their pages. And Squarespace has very limited amount of stuff that they allow you to do in terms of analytics. And so that was a really big limiting factor because we could not embed some of the tracking pixels where I really wanted them. Um, Davis says, "Shoot me." I know, and you know, and interestingly enough, talk about a blonde moment. Not nothing. There's Maria. Talk about a blonde moment for me. I didn't even
Now.
I didn't even ask what they were using for hosting till we went to release the campaign, and then I sent them the pixel. And in my defense, it was one of these where I was sending things over the wall, right? But yeah, blonde and pink bra moment. But you know, but I didn't even think about it. But it's very important also to make sure that you're hosting on a platform that allows you to insert the tracking pixels anywhere you need them, right? And this was not a great choice for them. And you know, obviously now we're moving this thing off to better hosting. But it's very important that you start with something that allows you to embed tracking pixels. Um, the other thing that is very important, which is something they had done incorrectly the first time, is they weren't tracking at the right place, right? So they had incredibly good analytics as to where people were going on the website, for example. Kai says, "What hosting do you recommend?" You know, I'm not partial to anybody. You know, I use Bluehost. I use something called Web Hosting Pro or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I,
Uh,
I'll tell you these days is not that big of a deal. What do you think, Maria?
yeah. No, and I use HostGator. But yeah, Bluehost is coming up and strong. I mean, I
Well,
started. Go ahead.
Bluehosting and HostGator are owned by the same company now.
Yeah, exactly. And if I recall, I think I started in Bluehost when I first got online in what, 2002 or something like crazy like that, 2003, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, well, why don't we do this, Art? Because I know everyone's just, I think, got tremendous value out of this, and we've kept everyone here on the webinar like a 90% rate of retention of people staying, because a lot of times people drop off after the halfway. So, Art, that's an indication how well you did. So, just thank you for that. And everyone, we want to share what we're doing in the real world because we do have all these case studies going on. We're in the trenches with you. We're actually, driving our own brands, creating new brands, and then consulting for companies, as Art mentioned. Um, so we want you to sign up to our Facebook group. So step one is go to wildhorseway.com to sign up to our training and tribe community on Facebook. And I want to first let you know that it is in building mode, right, Art? I mean, as Art
Yes.
said, yeah, like watch us as we're building it. Like seriously, there's like 4 members right now, so you can be kind of the founding members and helping us, get this thing going, and that's the group here. So you're going to just have to join, and we're getting rules on there, and the lovely Susie Jones from Australia, she's going to tremendously help with us too to really kick this group off and grow it. Because it takes a community to build a community, right? Or what's that saying there, Art? Susie
I
says
like
that's
the takes the tribe to build to raise the child, takes the village.
yeah, thanks.
That's good. It takes a community to build a community. I got it.
That's right. And if you kick over to our new site, wildhorseway.com, That's our new site for our Wild Horse marketing. We've got a few things going front and center. If you see this little box here, systems and strategy, help to simplify your business and your life. If you click that, it's we're using lead pages and all that kind of fun stuff. You can just kind of enter your information and it'll take you right to the Facebook group as well as a thank you page. But we'd really love for you to look at that. Bud Anderson has asked to join the Wildhorse Way, so we already got some folks joining. Fantastic. Um, and
Mad Tribe with Mad Pride. I like that, Martin.
yeah. So that's just fantastic. We really appreciate all that. So there we go, and we will definitely start managing this group. Art, is there any? Oh, and notice that we say no spamming. Did I say no spamming? Yes, I sure did. So that's one thing we ask. Let's all monitor the community together, and what we will do, because I understand it, we want to show off, some of the stuff we're doing online. Definitely we'll make a day dedicated where you can show us your stuff or, send us to a link you're working on, etc. So we'll create a thread on a specific day where you post your ad or link and all that kind of fun stuff. So there you have it. Hey, Art?
Yes, and I think what uh, the reason we decided to start small and not go, hit everything massively is because we are building some interesting live. Everything we're showing you is live, right? I mean, this stuff, there's a lot of money that is actually being spent, despite the fact that the traffic budgets are a little small. But it's real life stuff. I mean, we're running real businesses with this stuff, and Maria and I are working on 2 or 3 very cool projects right now that I think are gonna, result in great training. And honestly, particularly with this upcoming one we're gonna do, that where we're gonna talk a little bit about Amazon. Um, I think I think even the people that are out there selling $25,000 Amazon products are going to fall off the chair when they look at some of the stuff we're going to be doing there. Um, because, typical to the way we do things, we rather tell you everything on how to do it so that you don't have to spend a dime on that stuff. But, we'll give you systems. You can pay us for systems, but we will definitely make it so that, if all you want is information, that stuff we're going to give you, we're going to give it away to you. So you definitely want to stay there. Obviously, promote the community. I think the more people are there, the better feedback we get. But I'm very grateful because obviously the feedback you guys gave me today is going to really help me on this live campaign, and I'm looking forward to reporting on what's coming up this coming round.
Beautifully said. Well said. So, Art, without further ado, we'll finish this webinar. Everyone have a fantastic, fantastic day or night, wherever you are. If you're just starting your day, if you're just about to rest your head on a pillow. And Art, thank you so much. I got a lot of value out of this as well. It was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everybody. Have an awesome, awesome rest of your day if you're waking up, or rest of your day if you're about to pack it up, as I am.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.